Hello, welcome to the Roundhouse podcast with Paul Sulentrop of Wichita State University Strategic Communications. Thanks for your time. We appreciate you listening. Today we're going to talk Shocker baseball as they are in the middle of fall practices. Our guests today are Nick Potter and James Umbarger. Both of them are right-handed pitchers. Both of them are newcomers to the Shocker roster. Nick is from Greenwood, Missouri. He attended Lee's Summit West and Crowder College, along with a whole bunch of other Shockers. James is a freshman. He is from Leavenworth, and he attended Lansing High School. James, tell us about your history with the great sport of baseball. How'd you fall in love with baseball?
Yeah, definitely. I grew up a military kid, so I was always moving around. It's kind of difficult making friends and stuff like that, so my mom put me into baseball, and it kind of became my life. Is how I made friends, how I met new people when I was moving place to place with the military, and then it just grew as a passion for me, something that I loved. And then as I grew older and stuff, I realized it was something that I wanted to pursue at the collegiate level. And now I'm here.
Now you're here. Were you always a pitcher?
I was actually a catcher. I caught all the way up into high school. I'm a taller guy. I don't move as well as other guys, so I kind of moved to pitching, and that's what I do now.
Okay, Nick, take us through your history with the sport of baseball.
Yeah, so I grew up in an athletic family. My dad played football and baseball. My mom played softball. My sister also played softball. So from a young age, I was kind of put into baseball as well, and I just stuck with it. Never really played any other sports. I tried track out, but I always fell in love with baseball. So growing up, big baseball guy, like James says, that's kind of like all you do when you grow up. When you get real serious about it and competitive, that's where you make your friends. That's where your weekends are. That's where your summers are. So I was also a catcher. When I was in high school, I got until my junior year. And growing up, I realized that I continued to love baseball, and I realized that if I had the opportunity to play at the college level, I would like to continue to play, and here we are.
What's the best place you ever traveled for a tournament?
I would say Orange Beach, Alabama.
I love catchers. Both of you have a catching background, so that's fascinating. Those guys seem to be the guys that know a lot about the game. They're really savvy. They've got so many responsibilities, so I always enjoy talking to catchers. How did being a catcher up until high school, James, how did that help you get to where you are now?
As a catcher, you see the whole field. You're responsible. You're basically the quarterback of the baseball team, so that really led to a wealth of knowledge. You have to know where everyone has to be all the time, so it really helped with my baseball IQ. And as a pitcher, you get to know the hitters a lot when you're a catcher, so knowing the mindset of a hitter really gives you a competitive advantage, I'd say, pitching and a lot of knowledge and stuff like that.
Nick, how about you? How does being a catcher for a while help you?
I would say two main points. The first one would be kind of piggybacking off what James said, from the catcher point of view, that you kind of know the pitcher's tendencies, the hitter's tendencies, so it gives you a wide variety of baseball IQ that you wouldn't know if you grew up pitching your whole life. And then the second thing would be athleticism. Most pitchers growing up, they kind of put athleticism to the side, but when you grow up to be a position player, it kind of keeps you moving athletic. It makes you move well, fluid, and you're not really robotic, and I think that helps. That helped me grow into be a pitcher that I am now.
Do you enjoy pitching or catching? Do you ever miss catching?
I do miss catching sometimes, but I'm thankful that I become the pitcher that I am now. But yeah, I do miss it sometimes, yeah.
Okay, both of you are in a new place. You got new school, new classes, new teammates, new baseball, all of that. James, what's been the biggest adjustment here as you are a freshman at Wichita State?
Definitely the load, coming from high school into college, the load is definitely increased with class and with baseball, especially I'm not used to throwing every day. Like in high school I wouldn't throw every day, and now we're here throwing every day, so definitely the load is the biggest difference between high school and now college.
Nick, you've been through the adjustment once before, going to Crowder. What's it like here at Wichita State?
I kind of got the load part out of the way at junior college, but I think the biggest thing for me now would be the size of the school. it's a big difference from junior college. Junior college, everything was kind of close. You know where you were going. I'm still learning where to go, and we're 2 months in. So I say the size of the school is the biggest jump.
Tell us about your recruiting journey, Nick. How did you end up here at Wichita State?
So out of high school, I was recruited to Crowder College, where I stayed for 2 years. And then at Crowder, I pitched, obviously. And then it took me and James actually played summer ball together. And that's where they came to watch one of his games because he had already been committed. So they were there watching his game, seeing how he's doing. And I was actually throwing at one of the games as well. So that's where I talked to Coach Overcash. That's where he saw me and then recruited me from there.
Okay. James, how about you? How did you end up at Wichita State?
The summer going into my senior year, I was committed to St. Bonaventure University. Some things didn't work out, and I was decommitted in January of this year, of 2024. And so after that, I trained at a place, Premier Baseball, in Kansas City with Bob Zimmerman. There was a pro day event in February. I threw there, had a pretty good day. Wichita was there. They saw me pitch. And so that's kind of how I ended up here. I know I grew up most of my life in Kansas, kind of seeing the success that Wichita State had, so I always kind of grew up wanting to go here and play baseball here, so I made the decision a lot easier. And then when I committed in March.
So, Nick, there's a lot of Crowder guys here. Two other pitchers are also newcomers here, Aaron Arnold and Carson Richard. And then Josh Livingston was here last year. How did that happen? How all these Crowder guys ending up in Wichita?
Yeah, I would think the Crowder Wichita State connection kind of started with Sam Hilliard back in the mid 2010s.
Right,
and after that, we've kind of been sending a lot of guys over here. Like, I've obviously grown up in Kansas City. I've known about Wichita State for a while. I've been in contact with them even when I was in high school. But going to Crowder, seeing Josh and David last year go here, and then seeing Aaron and Richie commit in the early fall, it kind of made it easier for me, and it felt like it wasn't as big of a step going here. Moving schools, I feel like I would actually know some people. So that was kind of like a checklist off. So, yeah.
Okay, and you mentioned David Johnson, who played center field for the Shockers last year. He's also a Crowder guy.
Yeah.
Sam Hilliard, I'd forgotten he went to Crowder.
Mm-hmm.
He is now with the Rockies. So he had a really nice career here at Wichita State and is in the big leagues. James, fall practices, describe them. What are you learning about this program, about the coaching staff, and expectations?
Yeah, definitely so. The fall practices and everything, we started with our individual stuff, working with Coach Claggett. Kind of got to see how he works with the pitchers and stuff. It's been really eye-opening. He's a really intelligent guy. He knows, like, every guy's different, so he's working with everybody. And then we moved into team practice and then getting to see all the guys compete in inter squads and seeing the pitchers compete. That's really been an eye-opening thing to see where I stand in the process. I didn't really know what to expect coming in as a high school guy. I'm sure Nick at junior college has a little different experience, but he didn't know what to expect as well. But it's been a really eye-opening experience. It's also been really fun. The competition's been great. Working with the guys has been a lot of fun. I mean, it's a really family-like culture and stuff. The first day I got here, guys are coming up to me, introducing themselves, shaking my hand, saying their names and stuff like that. So it kind of translates into practice, just like a synergy. It's been really flowing really well, and it's been a lot of fun, for sure.
Nick, how about you? Describe fall practices.
Yeah, so when we first got here, it was the individualized work. So it was kind of Coach Clagg's trying to see how everybody works. Like James says, everybody works different, everybody learns different. So Clagg's and the whole coaching staff is actually really good about keeping it individualized, but also in a team aspect. So they let us kind of find our way in what works best for us, while also keeping it as a group and as a team and make sure everybody's get what they do, like make sure everybody gets what they need to be done. And then we moved into team practices. That was a little more longer practice, more team oriented. We started working on some defenses and things like that. But I think the biggest thing about the fall so far has been like the competitiveness. I've noticed everything here is competitive, whether it's just whether it's us playing handball in the locker room or we're out there scrimmaging. Like we take things serious, and I like it. I like the environment.
Who's the best handball player on this team?
Who? Dobbs is pretty good.
Yeah,
Tyler Dobbs.
I would say Tyler
good.
Dobbs.
Yeah.
I'd say Jace Miner's pretty good as well.
Beham's pretty good.
Beham's pretty good. They take that pretty serious.
Okay, all right. I wasn't aware about the handball competition going on. That sounds interesting. So Wichita State is in the process of putting together, I guess, what they will call a performance lab over above the underneath the grandstands or in the grandstands down the first base line. I've been in there, and they're just kind of early stages of getting it up and running. So that's all cameras, analytics, looking at how the ball comes out of your hand, all that kind of stuff, which is a fascinating field, I think. How much, Nick, have you had exposure to these kind of tools, and how do you see yourself benefiting from something like this when you do get in there?
Yeah, so I've never really had like the whole pitching lab thing for me. I've always had like the TrackMan and the Rapsodo and things like that. But when I was actually on my visit, Coach Green was actually on his way to a meeting to get the pitching lab done because it was supposed to be done in like late December, I think. And he said that he had the meeting and it actually got done, and we started being able to build it in early August, which was great. And being able to like see that and like hear like that we're going to be able to work on pitch grips and slow motion video and like everything you could think of. It's cool to me. It's eye opening to me because I've never got to do something, and I'm excited to get into that after a team practice.
Force plates. There are force plates in the mound where they'll measure how you land and all that. James, is this just kind of standard stuff now when you're looking at a college? Pitchers are going to want to be able to use these kind of tools?
Yeah, definitely. If you schools are wanting to compete, especially like with power forward level, this kind of stuff is kind of becoming the standard. Every school has it. So now that Wichita State has this, it's just put us at that competitive advantage against our conference and other schools in the country. It's going to be a really huge resource for everybody to use. It's going to be also a learning opportunity because I'm sure not many of the guys have been exposed to this kind of thing. I know I haven't. Nick said he hasn't. So it's definitely going to be a learning experience, and I really think that with the use of this lab, it's just going to increase the competitiveness of an already really, really competitive staff that we have.
So the Shockers scrimmaged Cali College on Saturday. You'll have another one against Dallas Baptist coming up in a couple weeks. Nick, give us some observations. If you're a fan, you're going to come out and maybe watch a Shocker series. You're going to come out for Dallas Baptist. Who should they keep an eye on? Which of your teammates has maybe impressed you to this point? Who's hard to get out? Maybe that's the best way to approach
Hitter-wise?
this. Who are the hitters that have given you some trouble?
Oh, for me, it's been all the upper class guys. I mean, like I said, this is the most competitive I've been. There's not a single easy AB. I would say in this fall so far, everybody's a hard out. Everybody makes you work for your money. But I'd say the hardest for me has probably been Jordan Rogers.
Okay, Jordan Rogers, returner, plays in the outfield, plays on the infield. Okay, James, how about you? Who's a teammate or two that's maybe jumped out at you that fans should keep an eye on?
I think kind of a guy for me that I saw, especially at our the pro day event, the scout day event that we had was Ryan Callahan. He went I think 4 for 5 with
two doubles,
2 doubles and a triple off of our arms. So I think that's a guy that Shocker fans should really keep an eye on.
Right, Ryan Callahan played first base, played in his second year with the Shockers. Okay, Nick, 2 runners in scoring position. There's 1 out. It's kind of a stressful situation. What techniques do you use to maintain composure, repeat your delivery, trust your defense, all those kind of baseball things we hear about? What's going on in your brain when things get a little dicey out there?
Absolutely. So this kind of stems from earlier in the fall. We had a guest speaker, Dean, come out for us for some culture week. And he kind of talked about breathing, like box breathing, and that's what kind of stood out to me. So now when I'm actually on the mound, I actually really focus. Like if I'm in a stressful situation and I need to get out of it, I need to help. I'll actually step off the rubber. I'll turn around, look out in the outfield, and take some deep breaths, think, revisualize. I'll try to visualize myself on the mound and like me throwing a good pitch, and I'll step back on the mound. Normally that helps. That's kind of what I found very, very helpful.
Okay, James, similar situation. Things are maybe unraveling a little bit. Maybe you're on the road, the crowd's getting after you. You can hear the other dugout. They're chirping at you. How do you stay steady and get out of that jam?
I just think it's a mindset thing, your preparation before you just got to trust your preparation that you've put in the work, have no doubts, and then also you have to know that the coaches have you out there for a reason. They trust in you, so you should really know that you're there for a reason and not stress about it. And then another thing that we've been working on as the pitchers in the classroom at X Stadium, sometimes we go up to Champions Club, is visualization. So stand behind the mound, take a deep breath, visualize what you're going to do before it. So in your mind that you've already done it, so you don't need to be stressed about it. So the visualization and just trusting your preparation and knowing that the coaches and the staff have you out there for a reason are some of the things that I think about in stressful situations on the mound.
Okay, James, different scenario. You're up 5-0, you're in the fifth, you're cruising, feeling good, maybe giving up a couple soft singles and not much more. How do you maintain focus? How do you not let the opponent get something going where they were stifled previously?
Yeah, definitely. Just don't settle. Play the game like it's a tied ball game the entire time. Continue to compete. Don't relax. The minute you relax, the hitters are going to jump onto that, and your stuff's not going to play as well. So, just play the game with a competitive edge, and it's always 0-0 until the game ends.
Nick, how about you? Things are going well. How do you keep them going well?
Yeah, absolutely. Don't let up. Kind of what James says. Continue to compete. Clearly, you're doing something right. Clearly, you're doing something that the hitters can't fix. So if you just continue to go out there and do what you're doing what you can control. You're controlling the controllables. Then you're good to go.
So, Nick, you posted this quote on social media. The quote would be, "Most people don't want to be part of the process. They just want to be part of the outcome. But the process is where you figure out who's worth being part of the outcome." What does that mean?
Yeah, absolutely. So it means, like, people just want the end result. People just want to be the best pitcher on the team. People just want to be a part of a winning team. They want to have June in Wichita, right? But they don't want to work all fall for what it takes to be there. They don't want to put in the early hours in the weight room. They don't want to take the 4-hour practices. They would rather just let it all happen, and then they just want to see the result. They don't want to put in the work to see the result and earn the result.
Have you always been guided by that, or did the realization hit you at some point that, hey, I need to be more process-oriented?
I would say when I went to junior college, I would say more I found within myself that I need to focus on the process, and I need process-oriented. Everything in junior college is a process. You're trying to get somewhere. You're trying to go somewhere. And so I feel like my freshman year in junior college when I was struggling, I found that focus on the process and really, really take pride in the process, and the result will come.
I'm reading a book called The Arm by Jeff Passan. It's about the mysteries of pitching and Tommy John surgery, best practices for pitchers, staying healthy, all this. It's got a lot of Riley Pint in it, who you guys might be familiar with, Kansas City area pitcher, St. Thomas Aquinas High School. Nick, how do you stay healthy? How do you make sure your arm continues to work?
Yeah, so actually I believe in, obviously your pre-throw, make sure you warm up correctly, and your post-throw to make sure you recover correctly, but I also believe in the weight room. I believe that if you neglect the weight room, then your body's not going to be strong enough to withhold what you're doing pitching on the mound in season. And I think that's where most injuries come from. I feel like if you can maintain the weight room and get stronger, your body will get stronger, and it'll be able to last longer, and you'll be able to maintain what you've been doing throughout the season and prevent injury.
James, techniques, tips for keeping that arm healthy?
Yeah, I definitely agree with Nick. The weight room is a huge part of staying healthy, just maintaining your strength and stuff like that. As pitchers, our bodies break down a lot when we're throwing, so, if you're not going back to build that strength back up, you're going to get injured. And then also just going to the training room after you throw and working with the trainers stuff. They're there to help you, so, using those resources for your advantage are only going to help you stay healthy and let you continue to throw.
So when you are away from baseball, both of you hunt, fish, both of you play golf. James, best hunting or fishing experience? What's the day out there that you really enjoy thinking about?
Yeah, it was this past summer, me and my buddies, I live on the Kansas-Missouri border, so we had the Missouri River flowing right through basically my backyard. And we're out catfishing. We're there for about, I'd say it's 5-hour mark, and we landed a 70-pound flathead catfish. I have a picture of it on my phone, but yeah, that's definitely one of the most memorable fishing experiences that I've had. You're sitting there for 5 hours and you get that one bite, and it happens to be that 70-pound catfish. It was a really fun experience.
What about fish recipes or game recipes? Do you have something in particular that you like to go to when you bring something home that's worth eating?
Yeah, so me and my dad, when we go catfishing and bring them home and fillet them and stuff, we'll just egg wash them, put them in some panko and some Dave's Red Hot, and then fry them up, and then serve them with some fries. I mean, that's the really go-to recipe. I think everyone can make that.
Yeah, well, if you live on the Missouri River, there would be lots of good opportunities there, definitely. Nick, how about you? What's that? What's your favorite hunting or fishing experience?
Yeah, for me, mine's fishing. It's and I actually didn't even catch the fish, but it was with me and my dad, and we were on the boat out on a lake, and we were fishing around a dock, and biggest bass I've ever seen. Dad takes it and he yells at me to go get the fishing net. I'm running to the front of the boat, and this thing jumps out. It might have been 12 pounds. I don't know. I've never seen a bass that big in my life. And jumps out of the water. Line breaks. We don't catch it, but me and my dad just sit there and we just look at each other. And my dad's like emptying his pockets, getting ready to jump in after it. I kid you not. I was like, we just sat there in awe for like 5 minutes after just talking about the fish. It was definitely something I remember, and I'll probably remember for a while.
Go-to recipe. How do you like to fix your what you brought in?
I've actually never eaten fish before. I've never ate fish that I've caught. I've always just catch and release.
Okay.
So I wouldn't be the guy to go to for that.
Okay. James, favorite Major League Baseball team?
Say the Royals. I'm a Kansas City kid. The Royals.
Okay, makes sense. Nick, how about you?
Absolutely the Royals.
What's been the key to their amazing turnaround this year?
Bobby Witt.
Yep.
The boys are playing some ball.
Okay. Yes. You have the T-shirts probably. Yes. That's been a lot of fun. Favorite professional athlete, James?
That's a tough one.
While he's pondering, Nick, do you have one?
Does it have to be current?
No.
Oh, okay.
No rules here.
I would say mine would be Nolan Ryan. My dad was huge on Nolan Ryan, so I always grew up. He always put it in my head that he was the best pitcher ever. So I kind of grew up big Nolan Ryan guy.
He is also prominent in this book that I'm reading because he was just such a freak of nature. Nobody could really figure out how he could just throw 1,000,000 innings every season, didn't get hurt, and remained effective into his 40s, I think. Yeah.
He would throw into like the 13th, 14th
Oh,
inning.
yeah.
That's unheard of now.
Times were different.
Yeah.
Definitely. Okay, Nolan Ryan.
James. Randy Johnson. I'd say that's my
Okay.
favorite, especially baseball player. He threw 100 miles an hour 30 years ago, with those radar guns. I feel like I'm built pretty similar to him, so I can see myself in him. But yeah, Randy Johnson.
He was quite the imposing figure. Have you met Brent Chemnitz, the former pitching coach here?
I have not.
Still works here. He coached Randy Johnson in the Alaska League one summer. So when you do meet Brent, ask him of his Randy Johnson stories. He's got some good ones. Okay, when you are a athlete, a lot of long road trips, buses, planes. James, what's the item you need to survive all these hours on a trip?
Definitely my earbuds. I gotta listen to music on road trips, even if we're driving them 2 hours to KU. I need my earbuds to listen to music.
Need your earbuds. What are you listening to? Who's your go-to musical artist?
Right now I listen to Treaty Oak Revival. That's my favorite. They're a country artist. It's definitely my favorite band I'm listening to right now.
Okay. Nick, how about you? How do you pass the time on a road trip?
Yeah, definitely headphones. Whether that's watching YouTube videos, listen to a podcast, or listen to music. I mean, it's the best thing to pass time.
Okay. Musical artist, who are you going with these days?
I'd have to say Drake. Drake for sure. I'm a big Drake fan. I like his music, so.
Okay, usually I do these podcasts over in the classroom at X Stadium, and there's always like 6 or 8 uniforms hanging on the wall. So I always ask people, what's their favorite uniform combination? Because they've got gray, they've got pinstripes, yellow, white, black, all kinds. They've got a throwback version. Since you're both new, maybe you really haven't dived into this. But James, do you have a favorite Shocker uniform?
Yeah, mine's all black. Yeah, I love all black. That's what I...
All black. It's got like script Shockers. Am I remembering that right? Okay. Nick, do you have a preference?
Mine was the creams. Definitely. I love the creams.
And those are with the old school lettering?
Yep. Seeing those on the TV, I love those. Those are my favorite ones.
Okay.
You wore that on your visit, the creams?
Yeah, that's what I wore on my visit too.
That's right. Yes. Nowadays, yes, you get to try on uniforms and take the pictures and do all of that stuff. So you get a little taste of the uniforms. Okay. James, do you have an intro song picked out?
Yeah, my walkout song is Dr. Feelgood by Motley Crue. That's my song.
Okay, any particular, what's the connection? Why do you choose that one?
It just gets me gets me pretty hype. I think the guys will know. I feel like I'm pretty like a feel-good guy. I make people laugh, stuff like that. So I equate that song to me. So yeah.
Nick, what's your walkout song?
Mine is Umbrella by Rihanna.
Is there a history? Tell us.
Yeah, I mean, that was always one of my favorite songs growing up as a kid, and I just kind of, when I was in junior college, I was trying to find a song. That's probably the hardest part, trying to find a song to walk out to. I was like, yo, why don't I just go back to one of the songs I used to listen to all the time? And it just gets me going. Like, it gets me in the zone. Once I hear the music, I'm ready.
Okay. James Umbarger, Nick Potter, thank you very much for your time. Shocker baseball pitchers. They were gracious enough to give us a few minutes today. We appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great insight as always. Thanks for listening to the Roundhouse podcast, courtesy of Wichita State University Strategic Communications. We encourage you to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. You can always find more Roundhouse content at GoShockers.com.
Down to a 3-2 pitch with 2 men on, 2 outs in the ninth. The stretch by Tyler Green. Here it comes. Struck him out! A no-hitter for Tyler Green! A strike 3 call on the outside corner, and Tyler Green has pitched the 4th no-hitter in Wichita State history, the 2nd in as many years, as he joins fellow classmate Charlie Gendrome as the author of a Wichita State no-hitter, and in the process struck out a career-high 13, including all 3 outs in the 9th inning. Tyler Green completes a no-hitter, and Wichita State defeats New Mexico 12-0.